Welcome to Highfield Think Tank TV, Kasoma Farouk of Uganda. We are in with our scenario item and responses in history and political education. For facilitation, you can call us on that number. This is part 2 of our scenario item. So we are in for this today, and I call upon you to follow. So we are saying, due to continued indirect foreign influence or control of African countries by superpowers since independence, African leaders have embraced regional integration as a way of fighting this situation, neocolonialism. In 1999, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania revived the operations of the East African Community that had collapsed in 1977. Since its re-establishment, however, the activities of the East African Community have remained unknown to many people who even think it is a failed organization, to the extent that it has even failed to fight neocolonialism. To some others, the organization has tried to meet some of its aims and objectives, though it is challenged with fighting neocolonialism. The above latter group of people have decided to lead a sensitization program to educate others about the activities or achievements of the East African Community in order to change people's attitudes towards the organization, and also to find out from the masses how neocolonialism can be brought to an end. You have been asked to be part of the sensitization group. Prepare information you will use to educate the above people in regard to steps that can be taken to overcome the situation in the scenario. We are going to consider HK, HT, and HA. So we are saying, neocolonialism is the indirect foreign influence or control of African countries by superpowers through economic, political, and or cultural means, even after political independence. In this case, therefore, to fight neocolonialism effectively, the East African Community and its member states can undertake the following steps. Number 1, strengthening intra-East African trade can be taken to overcome neocolonialism. East Africans should buy more goods produced within the region instead of importing from Europe or America. Therefore, regional economies will become self-reliant. Promoting use of local currencies can also be taken to overcome neocolonialism. Partner states should trade using their own shilling rather than US dollars or euros. Kenya paying for Uganda's coffee in Kenyan shillings reduces Western financial control, hence foreign exchange reduces. Then, developing local industries can further be taken to overcome neocolonialism. East African countries should come up with a strategy to process minerals, coffee and cotton locally before exporting. Uganda building a steel mill to process iron ore at home stopped cheap export of raw materials. Consequently, more wealth remains in the region. Another step that can be taken to overcome neocolonialism is strengthening East African Monetary Union. A single central bank would manage interest rates and protect the region from World Bank and IMF harsh conditions. Therefore, economic sovereignty increases. Then protecting local farmers and manufacturers can likewise be taken to overcome neocolonialism. East Africa should impose higher taxes on imported goods that compete with local products. Raising taxes on imported goods will protect East Africa. Therefore, local businesses will grow and create jobs. Promoting joint political positions can equally be taken to overcome neocolonialism. East African countries should speak with one voice at the United Nations and the World Trade Organization. All East African countries members voting together against unfair trade rules at the UN gives more power. Hence, the region negotiates from a stronger position. Investing in regional infrastructure can as well be taken to overcome neocolonialism. Building roads, railways, and power plants within East Africa reduces dependence on Western donors for every project. Therefore, the region chooses better partners without Western influence. Then, we are saying today, strengthening the East African Court of Justice can also be taken as crucial to overcome neocolonialism. Communities and companies can sue foreign corporations that exploit resources unfairly. Tanzanian community suing a Western mining company for polluting water shows regional legal power. Consequently, foreign companies follow fair practices. Finally, encouraging a joint East African military forces can be taken to overcome neocolonialism. A single East African peacekeeping force would reduce the need for Western military presence in the region. East African standby troops deployed in Congo instead of French or US soldiers protect sovereignty. Hence, regional security is controlled locally. In conclusion, to overcome neocolonialism, East Africans can undertake the above steps, which will reduce foreign control and increase regional self-reliance. You can follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook for more.